sad story. We shouldn't have turned our backs on the Kurds after the Gulf War.
Listen, we're not responsible for her choices. Everyone decides their own fate, no matter where they were born. Words like fate, karma, it's just an excuse for giving up if you ask me.
I don't agree with you. Maybe if she hadn't been born on a battlefield, she might have had a happier, more fulfilling life. She might not have turned into a killer.
Master, you and I, we're nothing more than dogs, are we?
That's not like you, Snake. Don't let what Sniper Wolf said bother you. Listen, there's not a soldier alive that doesn't question himself. And if there is one, he's nothing more than a murderer. But someone like Wolf, a soldier who's looking for nothing more than their own death, is no good to anyone either. Once she started to look for death, it was all over. That's how you'll end up too, Snake.
Snake, hurry up and get to Metal Gear's underground base. The entrance should be towards the back of the snowfield.
Is this all there is to load? The snowfield north of the towers, huh?
What can I do for you, Snake? Snake, Leo DeRocher said, win anywhere you can. Nice guys finish last. What about you, Snake? Is that what you think? Is there anything that you wouldn't do to stay alive? You should think about that, Snake.
The entrance to the underground base is further below. There should be a cargo elevator that you can take down somewhere around there. Try to find it.
According to the military doctrine, which is the basis for NATO expansion, a preemptive nuclear strike may be undertaken if there is a sufficient threat of a regional conflict spreading to a large-scale war. In the face of all this NATO expansion, Russia might feel the need to flex their nuclear muscles, if only to show NATO that even with their aging arsenal and diminished army, they are still a major power.
There's a cargo elevator in the northeast part of the bottom floor. You can take that to Metal Gear's underground base. You'll spot it right away. It's got a big patrol light attached to it.
A real master of warfare alters his strategy to cope with changes in the battlefield conditions. If you always follow the book, you'll be transparent to your enemy. Think carefully about your hiding spots. You may find a place where you can hide perfectly, but if you can't get your mission done, it's meaningless. War brings out the cruelty of man. No matter how the soldier was brought up, they all turn into animals when they're thrust into the heat of combat. When you're trying to hide, avoid places that look like the enemy might search. Think about how your enemy is going to move, and then sneak in there. Doesn't matter how smart you are, just use your head out there.
is straight down. Better move it. There's no time. The terrorists are ready to launch.
Negotiations are all finished,
The government can't cave into terrorist demands.
but they're threatening to launch a nuclear weapon.
They've made their final decision.
Why is the White House being so inflexible? Colonel, is there still something you're hiding from me?
Snake, please, just concentrate on stopping them, okay?
In the 20th century, in order to be a military superpower, you had to first be an economic superpower. But things changed toward the end of the century after the collapse of communism. With all the surplus weapons and technology floating around, even economically weak countries could have a powerful military.
If you take that cargo elevator down, you'll wind up in Metal Gear's underground maintenance base. It's automatically set to go back and forth between the blast furnace and the underground base. It's not there yet, so you'll just have to wait.
You need to make snap decisions. In war, the difference between living and dying is counted in milliseconds. Sometimes, even though you know it's a losing battle, you just have to fight or be damned. A narrow chance is still a chance. Foresight is important in war. In times of extreme danger, people's latent sixth sense often awakens. When that happens, throw logic to the wind and trust your instincts. Chance is still.
You caught Snake?
Snake, don't give up. Remember Macbeth Act 5, Scene 3. I'll fight till from my bones my flesh be hacked. Give me my armor. Everyone is counting on you, Snake. You've got to do it.
Snake, blow away all the bad guys, or you're not gonna be able to get out of there and get to the underground base.
Snake, there's nowhere to hide in that elevator. You'll have to fight.
Naturally, in an enclosed room, your motion is limited. But that doesn't mean that you should stand still and become a human target. You can win if you watch how your enemy moves and then cleverly counter it.
Are you hurt, Snake? Do it for me, Snake.
Looks like that elevator you were riding on won't go any further down. Switch to the other elevator.
Snake, that's the relay point between Elevator 1 and Elevator 2.
Why was it set up this way?
Well, for a long time it had been set up so that you could take one elevator all the way to the bottom. But I heard that they changed it because of something to do with the structural integrity of the rock. The number 2 elevator is next to you, right? Transfer to that one.
The only way to conquer fear is to stare it straight in the face and laugh at it. Never let fear control you. Snake, I've got something to tell you about Naomi Hunter.
What about her?
Is this conversation secure?
Don't worry, the monitor's off.
Okay.
What's up?
I was in the FBI too, you know.
I didn't know that. What's your point?
Dr. Hunter's story about her background, about her grandfather being an assistant secretary to Hoover in the FBI,
Yeah?
and then going undercover to investigate the mafia in New York.
Yeah, what about it?
It was all a big lie.
What did you say?
It was really bothering me. Why would she lie about it?
She lied.
She might be a spy.
Ridiculous.
Come on, even a high school student could see past it. The head of the FBI at that time, Edgar Hoover, he was a well-known racist. Didn't Naomi say that her father was Japanese?
Yeah?
Well, back then there wasn't a single Asian investigator. Also, in the 1950s, the undercover mafia sting operations hadn't even started yet. They first started in 1960, in Chicago, not New York.
But
You better check it out. The chief and the president mysteriously dying, and that ninja? Too many strange things are happening.
are you saying that Naomi might be behind it?
I don't know. Either that, or she's working with the terrorists.
Could it be?
If I find out anything, I'll call. In the meantime, be careful.
Colonel, where's Naomi?
I'm right here, Snake. What is it?
Oh, nothing. Forget it.
Strange.
Snake, by now those terrorists have finished their launch preparations. Stop wasting time.
If we do not drastically reduce the number of stockpiled nuclear weapons, it is going to become easier and easier for terrorists to get their hands on them. That means more terrorist attacks like this one. There was some talk about both sides reducing their nuclear stockpiles to a core deterrent force of less than 500 missiles each, and declaring that there would be no nuclear counterstrike in the event of the use of conventional or chemical weapons. But talks fell through. It seems that America is unwilling to relinquish its position as the most powerful country in the world.
I want to ask you about Naomi.
I'm looking into the details now, but it doesn't look good. Weren't you ever suspicious about her, Snake? Snake, keep your guard up. Ravens will eat vegetables, meat, garbage, pretty much anything. It seems dirty to us, but that's what allows them to live even in a climate like this. Legends say that crows have 3 times the lifespan of a man, and that ravens have 3 times the lifespan of a crow. That's just an old wives' tale. But it's true that crows live longer than many types of birds. Northern ravens can live pretty close to 70 years. Some say that ravens have the power to predict death. The great poet Marlowe wrote about them in the 16th century. Thus, like the sad presaging raven that tolls the sick man's passport in her hollow beak, and in the shadow of the silent night doth shake contagion from her sable wings.
Mei Ling, how's Naomi?
She's fine, I guess. What's up?
Oh.
What do you want, Snake? If you want to talk to Naomi, why don't you call her?
Oh, it's nothing. Forget about it.
Strange guy. Good luck, Snake.